Let's continue reading Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs with my chunky monkey. The house was dark and there was no one at home. Inside. Oh, there's two words in there. Inside. Inside, there were 7 little chairs and 7 little beds. Snow White felt so tired, she lay down and fell. And sleep. Here's the word sleep. Chunking it up. Sleep. Asleep. When she woke up, she saw 7 dwarfs. "Who are you?" they asked. Snow White told them her story and began to cry. "But you can live here with us," they said happily. "Don't be sad," said the 7 dwarfs. "We will look after you." Snow White was happy living with the dwarfs. Every day the dwarfs went to work. Be careful. I know the FUL at the end makes full, and there's the word care. So chunking in the start and the end. Careful. Be careful not to talk to strangers. Strangers, they warned her. They may not be who they pretend to be. Snow White looked after the dwarf's little house and the big garden. Garden. Oh, that's a tricky word at the start here. And there's the word. I know that word there. That word's while. Meanwhile, the wicked queen asked her magic mirror who was the prettiest now. And again the mirror said Snow White. The queen flew into a rage. She poisoned an apple. The wicked queen visited the little house in the woods. I can see the word pretend. Pretended. She pretended to be an old woman selling apples. Snow White took the poisoned apple. Snow White ate the apple and fell to the ground. When the dwarfs came home, they thought Snow White was dead. They put her in a glass case and carried it to the top of a hill. Then the dwarf sat down and cried. Before long, a prince rode by. He stopped when he saw Snow White. "Who is she?" he asked. The dwarfs told him her story. The prince... tricky word. Lifted. The prince lifted the lid from the glass case. Snow White looked. That ED digraph keeps popping up. Makes that D sound. Looked. Snow White looked so pretty that the prince... Oh, again, the ED. Kissed. That the prince kissed her. Suddenly, Snow White gasped and spat out the bad apple. The kiss woke Snow White. She sat up. The prince took Snow White back to his palace. "Will you marry me?" he asked. "I will be very happy to marry you," she said. And so the dwarfs all went to the wedding. It was a very happy day. But the wicked queen was not invited. They never saw the wicked queen again. Alright, that's the end of Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. So now it's your turn to choose a just right book for you to practice the Chunky Monkey, and you've also got your reading task to do under classwork. Keep practicing the Chunky Monkey.